Slindelo Masikane, is that the car transporting Dr. Magudumana?
That is Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. As you can see in front of you, the convoy is officially leaving the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. That convoy, that Fortuna, along with these police vans, is making their way back to Kroonstad. That is the prison in which we know Dr. Nandipha is being held in. It's the only one that has a section for female prisoners that is well closest to Free State. You can see that there's been a flurry of activity outside, with many civilians also trying to catch a glimpse of Dr. Nandipha, but she was whisked away in a white Fortuna that has tinted windows, so you can barely see her. But I definitely noticed that she was in that Fortuna, and that is certainly the convoy that has led her out back to where she's going to be placed until the 3rd and 4th of May, where she herself will possibly be applying for bail. And of course, we know that her father has been granted 10,000 Rand bail, released or should I say granted, permitted into bail by the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court, with the agreement of the state not opposing. What we do know is that, it does seem as though the family has been trying to organize that. At this point, I did see a few of them report. And I think at this point we will try to get a confirmation as to whether they have been able to secure it, meaning that Mr. Sekeleni would be allowed to go home as of today, because of course all that's left is for him to essentially pay that bail money.
All right, Slindelo, just for the viewers, just to catch up with us and why we didn't start the show as normally as we would at 12 o'clock. She was telling me, as I told her at 11 o'clock, that she needs to scream in my ear if there is an update. So she was able to show us that Fortuna leaving the Mangaung prison, going to Kroonstad. Is that correct, Slee? 200 and something kilometers away. So it's about a 2.5-hour drive for Dr. Nandipha.
It's a 2.5-hour drive, so we know that they are being escorted by the police, meaning it may be quicker than your ordinary vehicle that's, making its way to Kroonstad. But like I said, that there was some kind of a decoy taking place, where you would have seen on the other side where our colleague Muluko Moloto is, a number of vehicles with blue sirens left prior, just about 5-10 minutes prior to this particular convoy. So you can see that there's a concerted effort to try and confuse the public, or confuse anyone who would want to perhaps try and follow the convoy, to just not to ensure that they don't know exactly which vehicle she's in, or exactly when she left the Magistrates Court. But I can confirm that she has officially left. We're just now going to try and confirm to see whether Mr. Sekeleni has been able to secure that 10,000 Rand for bail. We know that the other accused are also being housed in various facilities, prisons here in the Free State, and Thabo Bester in particular is in Pretoria at the Kgosi Mampuru prison.
And Slee, before I let you go and find out what's happening with the bail money for Mr. Zolile Sekeleni, just to remind us again, you had a conversation with the National Prosecuting Authority spokesperson in Bloemfontein, Peladi Shuping. They didn't oppose bail. He is saying this to you on the basis of being hopeful that he will actually adhere to bail conditions?
He says the state did not see any reason in opposing his bail, saying that they had verified his information. They know where to find him if perhaps he goes missing. But those bail conditions are quite strict, in that every week he's going to have to report to a police station. He can't leave the district of Port Edward. and he has to report to a colonel that's been assigned to him weekly at the Port Edward police station. And I blatantly then asked, but aren't you afraid that he's going to try and skip the country like his daughter? And he says that at this point there are no fears that he's going to try and run away from this particular matter or run away from standing trial, but that there are plans perhaps from the state side in terms of the other accused that they will be opposing bail in those applications.
All right, Slindelo Masikane, our senior reporter, is still on that story. Let's leave it there for now. We'll catch up with Sli a little later on. So clearly, a little earlier on, it was first Moloko Moloto showing us visuals of the other two accused leaving the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court to go to the different prisons where they have been held. And now Slindelo Masikane is showing us right at the top of 12 o'clock that Toyota Fortuner leaving with Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. It's a 2.5-hour drive to Kroonstad from Bloemfontein. She's being held at a female correctional service, or rather correctional facility.